Yeah, hi guys. Yeah, once again, welcome back to the Think class of operating system concepts, right? And here we are going to discuss about process synchronization. And before going back to the topic, okay, let's go back to the traditional humor session. So in this traditional humor session, I would just give you some like, okay, let's go and just check it out by itself. Okay, there was a boy, and he took a book from the. He went to the library. Then from the library, from himself. Okay, the boy took a book from himself to study. Okay, so what happened is like all the books fell on him, and he died. So, like the moral of the story is like whoever picks up the book thinks that the book picked him up. So be safe. Okay. So after this short humor session, now let's begin the session. So process synchronization, and in this process synchronization, like in the past sessions, we discuss about process creation and process management, and this is the session particularly dedicated towards process synchronization, and it is something that is a technique to coordinate. Coordination exists where when the process cooperates, well the process cooperates and works, like they try to perform the like execute a process, okay, execute a task. So in this kind of cooperating process, we need a technique to coordinate the execution among all these processes, and this is the technique that is defined here in process synchronization. And during this, one process may have to wait for another process, right? So like there is something like a critical, like the operating system resources should be like shared, it should be cooperated among all these processes, and the shared resources, that is also quoted as critical section, may require the exclusive access. So this means like exclusive access means the access from the kernel, from the main operating system, right? Okay, now going to the next question, like what are synchronization primitives then? These are the simple software mechanisms, okay, which are provided by the operating system to its users, okay, for the purpose of supporting thread or process synchronization. And we have different kind of synchronization primitives, and those are like mutex, events or conditional variables, and semaphores, right? So also monitor is generally considered a high level synchronization tool. It is a tool which guarantees mutual exclusion for its method using other synchronization primitives, right? So monitor is one of them. The monitor, the resident monitor, which was like which handles the tasks, the main task, as a like the main control system is the monitor, which we discussed before, right? The resident monitor in the previous lecture. And this one also act as a main synchronization tool, as a primitive synchronization primitive. So as a master who is helping us in a synchronization. And the key topic to understand, like the key thing to understand, is like the critical section is not a synchronization primitive, because it is a part of an execution path, okay, that must be protected from the concurrent execution in order to maintain some invariance. That means, like multiple processes are trying to access this kind of critical section, and this critical section consists of the operating system resources which is required to execute a process. So this must not be a synchronization primitive, because this is the tool, this is the as which is used for the execution of process, and all the multiple process try to execute this critical section to finish the task. And the key concept is like all this process, they cannot execute this, like they cannot have a critical section all at once. They must be shared, they must cooperate with each other, accessing this kind of critical section then to complete their job. The basic idea is this one. And then like we have to always protect this from like concurrent execution in order to maintain some kind of invariance, right? So we need to use some synchronization primitives, okay, to protect this kind of critical section, and this is all done by using the synchronization primitives. Now one of the synchronization primitive is mutex. So what is this mutex? Mutex is like something that provides mutual exclusion, and mutual exclusion means working with a mutual concept. Okay, so in the producer and consumer problem, we can say that either a producer or a consumer can have the key, that is a mutex, and proceed with their work. So either a producer can have the key and like start producing the items, or the consumer can have the key and start like consuming the items that is produced by the producer. So this is the basic concept that you have to understand. And like so the other not to have the key have to wait, okay, others who do not have the key, not having the key, have to wait, or vice versa. So that means if the producer is having the mutual mutex, then the consumer have to wait, and if the consumer is having the mutex, then the producer has to wait for the mutex. So at one point of time, only one thread can work with the entire buffer. So having only one entire buffer, so at one point of time only one thread can work. So mutex is something like a locking mechanism. So it's like something you access, you lock it, and you perform your job. Then like you unlock it, and you just leave for other process to lock it, right? So what is a semaphore then? It's a second kind of like synchronization primitive. It is something like a generalized mutex. Generalized means something like as in a general form, and semaphore is a signaling mechanism. Okay, like signaling mechanism is like a traffic signal, like something like I'm done, you can carry on. That means like, okay, this is done, okay, you can carry on. Like it's the semaphore just signals that okay, I'm done, and you can carry on. And this is the word like of the semaphore. Now, what is a fork and join primitives then? Fork creates the new processes, the new child processes, which are the identical copy of the current process, right? And join is a keyword, like something to join two processes. Now, beginning about like, we can also say that there is a co-begin and co-end, okay, are also there as a tool to perform this kind of fork and join primitives. Now, co-begin and co-end are limited to properly nested graphs. So you will see the use of co-begin and co-end, in nested graphs, right? So also the key note is like we have two operations, okay, like that is fork and join, and these are totally indivisible. That means like one cannot be divided from another, so they have to exist. Like fork creating the two processes exist, and whereas joining the two processes to one process also must exist. Okay, they are indivisible. And like you can check out the example here. Like we create out the variable process 1 and process 2. Then procedure, okay, E1, okay, we just declare this procedure. Then begin, okay, C and F. Like this is like really difficult to understand, but the basic idea for you is to understand is like you begin, then you start ending it, and process A, B, so as it goes on, and you join the process 1 and process 2 that was created by the point A, that was process 1, for process E1, the procedure that was created. And similarly, we will discuss this in an example here, okay? And the example we are going to discuss is about Unix process synchronization, and which will just illustrate you about like a system called fork, wait, and process state waiting. Okay, so this is the simple example. Similar as here, okay, it will just process 1 will try to execute the child process, and this child process will consist of some kind of procedure itself, and this will be called. And in point B, process 2 will try to fork another process, that is E. So similarly, and at point D, we try to join process 1 and process 2, and lastly at point C it just execute, like it just finished the execution. Okay, the idea here is like you start forking. If it is not equal to 1, it's not forking. Then if the child PID, that is the fork, is equal to 0, it returns the value 0, then it is a child, and you print out the statement of the process ID and the parent process ID, and similarly you call the function P34, and this function is something like this, and it is having some other, it's forking, it's incorporating another fork. Okay, so like you can check out here, like if this PID 4 is equal to fork, right, is the number that is -1, then it is not forking, whereas is equal to 0, then it is the child process. Then similarly it prints out and exits. Okay, otherwise it's a parent process, then similarly it does prints out the parent and waits for the child to execute, that is this child to execute. Okay, and then similarly it prints out everything and executes. And similarly in this was called by this function, and then the child process execute. But lastly in the main function also there is a parent process that will print out the corresponding information about the parent and the child, and then lastly it waits for the child to finish, and lastly it prints out the PID and execute overall and exit. We can see the result here, and this we will check out also in the lively. We can check out here. Okay. This file is in this Unix process synchronization.c file is here in this location, and let's try to compile it and run it. I already discussed these commands before in the previous lecture, right? We just have to use the gcc command, and particularly we also have to, and this is not using any kind of pthread. Okay, so let's process so we do not have to use any kind of we do not have to include any kind of library for features. So let's see what's happening here. Or something like, okay, okay. So let's try to and just run it from the okay, what we have to do is we have to just try to open this particular file. Okay, let's go back to the program where the file is which process, this one. Let me open this in the code block, then I will try to execute it. Sorry. Yeah, okay, now let's try to compile and run this. Yeah, okay, sorry for the delay, but here everything is executed here. And lastly it returns 0, right? Now lastly telling you about the situation is like this was about this image process synchronization, how it took place. Now going out to the example of sequential process. In a sequential process you can see a code, and what is happening in the code is like something like a function. Yeah, why? What is happening? Okay, this was all about the previous thing, and like what is happening is like this while statement is like is getting, okay, you get something in a while and then you update it and put it in a printer. Okay, you get from the reader and put it in the printer and you increment the counter. So this is just similar to some sequential process that is working in a sequence, one after another. That is, you get from the reader, you update this reader, then you put from the printer and increment. Now let's going back to the concurrent process. You can see that like two concurrent processes. Like first you check conditionally, you check if n is greater than or equal to 1. Then secondly you check the statement like if n is greater than or equal to 2, then particular statement is executed. So similarly these two kind of statements are executed in a concurrently if they satisfy the following condition. Then similarly I told you, like you update, you start printing, then you get it, and with a certain conditional loop you again start updating, completing, last start printing, then you complete this. Okay, so such kind of situation happens here. Okay, now after this sequential process and concurrent process example, now let's go back to what is cobegin and cogain that we have discussed, which we mostly use also for sequential process synchronization. It's like, okay, this cobegin and cohen construct, it allows concurrent execution of all the programs blocked in process. That means that all cobegin and cobegin, all program blocks begin concurrent execution. and at coin all of them must complete execution before the next block may begin execution, right? So this is the idea. You can see this immediately in the graph. This is the precedence graph, and in this precedence graph you can see that like begin and end. Okay, while you begin process 1,
Eccolo qua.
you co-begin, you concurrently you co-begin other processes like process 3, process 4, and the semaphore 1, and co-end process 9 at the end, right? So in semaphore 1, what you can see is like you begin semaphore 1, you begin process 2. Semaphore is something like as a synchronization primitive that is used for synchronization multiple processes. Now you co-begin process 5 and process 6 like semaphore 2, okay, and then you go in and end ultimately. Then in semaphore 2 what you do is you begin and end. What you begin process 6 which co-begins process 7 and process 8, and lastly it co-ends and end. Co-ends, this is the co-end process 9. So all together this co-ends in process 9, and we have a nested concurrent block
Se
completed,
vuoi venire con noi tanto.
right? And this was the right solution of how to use the co-begin and co-end. But if you go and check out, you can see like problems in using the concurrent block. That is some kind of error use of concurrent block. That is like
No,
you can
no, nel
see
senso che
here,
cioè,
like
la
this
cola è
process
vera. Cioè, questo
are
bando
like-
è vero, però è ovvio che non fanno partecipare
they
questi
are
clienti.
crossing each other. Okay,
Con
they are
quale
not just
credibilità pretendere
working
di
fine
vincere?
like here.
piazzi l'idea poi.
That means
No, lei ha detto che se sono idee
we can the
sensate,
problems
si può
with the
vedere.
concurrent block occurs
Complicato.
if
Io ce l'ho un paio di idee.
this kind of process is not
Praticamente
only
funziona
implementing
che
the co-begin and
ovviamente sono
co-end
cose che può promuovere sia
construction block,
università che
but
enti
it
privati.
also
E
is
nel progetto puoi coinvolgere
includes
ovviamente più
or contains some other extra variables
parti,
that are
diciamo,
needed.
tipo la nostra
Like you
prof
can see,
sta
this
facendo
graph
adesso.
cannot be implemented only using concurrent block
la
only.
fino.
That means
Vabbè,
there are some kind of
fa impianti,
signal that is
sono
passing
impianti
from here, and this process has to wait for
tipo
this
no, ne
process to
stanno
pass
facendo uno
like
in cui
pass the signal.
stanno collaborando con il tecnico
Okay.
di Torino, la Ferrero e il Centro
Now this is the idea.
e stanno usando praticamente
Yeah.
scarichi
Here there is
della
a
produzione delle
explicit
nocciole
use of
della
signal and
Ferrero.
weight.
L'ha detto il nostro
You can
professore.
see the code here.
Sì, sì.
E
Begin
loro stanno facendo
Sta
questo
lavorando
process
sulle
progetto,
20,
due,
però
then
ovviamente
co-begin similarly
cioè,
process
è roba da studiare, eccetera, ovviamente non è che degli studenti
as
possono
semaphore 1 and
mettere
semaphore 2. And
però
what happens is like semaphore 1 is trying to
Dalla
like
specialistica,
is signaling to
come
semaphore
fai
2,
solo
and
biomasse.
semaphore 2 has like
Però se vuoi
semaphore
farlo
1
con
has to
l'MT,
wait for the
magari
semaphore 2 to signal it back.
voi non ce l'avete il
This
corso
is the idea.
scelto.
Sì, ma io ho fatto
You
quello,
begin in semaphore 1, you have to begin and wait for
quello che
Q2.
fa pure gli altri, tra l'altro.
Whereas in semaphore 2, you have to wait for Q1 and signal to Q2. So this is the thing that is going around here.
No, però mi gasano queste cose.
Okay,
Guarda, se vuoi
now
venire,
how can I correctly use
5:30,
co-begin and
7,
co-end?
dal lunedì al mercoledì.
This is a simple example to illustrate you that how to use
No, però magari qualche
co-begin and co-end
concetto mi piace.
very easily.
Al di là di
Like if you want to sum these variables, then what you do is use co-begin and try to sum two of them, that is n1 plus n2. And secondly, what you sum is
Al
you
bar
sum
fanno
to
il caffè
you,
da scuola.
you try to sum
Sì?
variable 3 and 4,
Ci porti il caffè a tutti, ragazzi.
and you try to co-end them, like you sum both of them, like sum 1 and sum 2. So this is the thing how it works. And going to the what is the incorrect use of co-begin and co-end is like if you use in such a way, then this is the incorrect way, because co-begin and co-end, okay, is trying to access the value here, and like you can check out like a conditional check is done here. If something like x is greater than 100, then you print out this value, then else you print out something like so. This conditional check is done in coding and going. So this is a very incorrect use of coding and going. And lastly about the idea of what are the concurrent conditions for a process to satisfy is that two processes Si and Sj can run in concurrence if they satisfy the following concurrency condition, that is the set
Se io ti chiedo qualcosa più tipo
R
mi rispondi.
consisting of semaphore Si if the intersection of set R is equal with set W, okay, that consists of semaphore Sj is equals to 0. That means the semaphore are totally different, then concurrency can satisfy. That means one semaphore cannot intersect with another semaphore, so they must exist in a different form, right? And vice versa. So you can check out if J is intersect to Si, then equals J. If otherwise, if like this do not, if they intersect and their value is not equal to 0, then the time dependent errors might occur. So now if the concurrency conditions are not fulfilled, then the process passes on mutual exclusion. So this, you have to understand this. And for mutual exclusion, I already discussed before that we use the synchronization primitives like mutex or some other things, right? Mutex, semaphores. Okay, so this was all about like process synchronization. Thank you for listening, and like we'll continue more on some other topics that is coming. Yeah.